Hey there everybody, it's Ms. Smith here and we're going to do some multi-step equations today. So we're going to start off with this question number 1 and we're also going to do number 4 for you today. And then we're going to turn the page and do some equations that have variables on both sides. So if you're just interested in those equations with variables on both sides, you can run the video forward and find those. Just want you to know that those are coming. Okay, so let's take a look at problem 1 first. We have 1 minus 2x plus 8x equals negative 23. So a good first step here would be to combine our like terms. Now remember, we can only combine like terms on one side of the equation. So even though the 1 and the negative 23, they're both constants, we can't combine those because they're on different sides of the equation. They're on different sides of that equal sign. So just looking on the left-hand side, is there anything that I can combine? And the answer is yes. We can combine the negative 2x with the positive 8x because they're like terms. Why are they like terms? Because they both have an x attached to them. And they don't have any different exponents. If one of them had been an x squared, that wouldn't be like terms. But because they're just regular old x, then they are like terms. So to combine them, we just basically add their coefficients. The coefficient is that number in front of the x. So we're going to say to ourselves negative 2 plus 8. And negative 2 plus 8 is going to give us not negative 6, excuse me. That's going to be positive 6. So this term and that term combine to make positive 6. We still have the 1 out in front. We didn't do anything with it, so let's just put it in front. So we have now simplified, and we have 1 plus 6x equals, and that's still negative 23 over there. From here, we just have a two-step equation to solve. Which number do we want to get rid of first, the 1 or the 6? We want to get rid of that 1 first. So subtracting 1 from both sides to get rid of it. Why do we subtract it? Because right now it's a positive 1 being added to 6. So we need to figure out what will make it go to 0. And if it's a positive 1, a negative 1 will make it go to 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. So I'm just going to cross that out. They basically cancel. Now we're left with 6x equals, let's see, negative 23 minus 1. And grab your calculators if you need to. No worries there. Negative 23 minus 1 is negative 24. So we have 6 times x equals negative 24. We need to get rid of the 6 by doing the opposite of multiplication, which is division. So let's divide by the 6 to make it go away. So that makes the 6 go away. And we are left with, I'm running out of room here, guys. We're left with x equals negative 24 divided by 6 is going to be negative 4. And that's our answer. So that's number 1 for you there. Let's go ahead and look at number 4. All right, in number 4, we have, let me zoom in a little bit more. We have 6 minus 3x minus 8 equals negative 23. So again, looking just at one side of the equal sign at a time, is there anything that I can combine? Are there any like terms that will go together? Let's look on the left-hand side of the equal sign. So looking on this side, it looks like we've got 6 and negative 8. Those are just regular old numbers. In other words, they're both constants. That's what we call those. So let's combine them. We can combine the 6 and the minus 8. And when you do this, make sure you always grab that sign in front of the number also, because that's important too. That's part of that number. So let's do 6 minus 8, and 6 minus 8 gives us negative 2. And we still have the negative 3x, or the minus 3x, however you want to say it, to bring down. And then on the right-hand side of the equal sign, we just have a minus 23, or a negative 23. Okay, from here on out, it's just a two-step equation. So we need to get rid of the negative 2, and we need to get rid of the negative 3. Which one are we getting rid of first? We're going to get rid of that negative 2 first. And this time we'll get rid of it by adding it. Because it started out negative, and we want it to go to 0. So a negative 2 plus a 2, that'll make it go to 0. Now whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other side. So let's do the plus 2 over there also. And let's see, those canceled. We're going to bring down our negative 3x here and set that equal to negative 23 plus 2 equals negative 21. Now we need to get rid of this negative 3 that's in front of the x. So right now the negative 3 is multiplying by the x, so let's use the opposite of multiplication to get rid of it. And the opposite of multiplication is division. Let's make sure we divide by the whole thing, and by whole thing I mean the negative 3, not just a 3. And we're going to divide by it on both sides because what you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. This negative 3 divided by negative 3, it basically goes away. It turns into a 1, and 1 times x just equals x, so we just say it goes away. I'm going to write over here because, again, here I'll go a little bit below because I am running out of room. So x is going to equal negative 21 divided by negative 3 is going to give us a positive 7. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. So x equals 7 for that answer. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the other side where we can talk about having variables on both sides. So let's look at number 15 here. Actually, let's look at number 15. Sorry, I'm being indecisive here. So looking at number 15, we've got a whole bunch of stuff going on. We have negative 3m plus 4m equals negative 5m minus 12. So we're going to go ahead and combine like terms first here. And again, we can only look on one side of the equals sign at a time. So can I combine the negative 3 and the 4m with the negative 5m? Not really. I can take care of those a different way later, and I'll show you that in a second. But what we can do is combine the negative 3m and the 4m. So let's go ahead and do that. What is negative 3 plus 4? Well, that's just going to equal 1. So we're going to be left with 1m over here, and I'm just going to write it m. So m is the same thing as 1m. And that's equal to, is there anything I can combine like terms-wise over here with the negative 5m and the negative 12 minus 12? Nope, I can't combine anything, so let's just bring it all down. Okay, so now you notice you have an m over here on the left, and you've got more m's over here on the right. We need to get all the m's in one place on one side of the equal sign in order to solve this equation. So we have a choice between bringing all the m's over to the right or bringing all the m's over to the left. And I would definitely recommend, in this case, leave this m here. You notice it's the only thing over there, and if you subtract it away and get rid of it, you're just going to have 0 on that side, which can be kind of annoying. I mean, it would work, you could deal with it, but it's just a little bit easier to leave this m and get rid of this negative 5m. And when I say get rid of it, all I mean is get rid of it on this side, which is going to make it go to this side. Here, I'll show you what I mean. So right now we have a negative 5m. We're going to get rid of that whole term, the whole negative 5m, and we're going to get rid of it by going positive 5m. In other words, plus 5m. So when you combine the negative 5m with the plus 5m, that's just going to be 0. So that's going to cancel out, which is awesome. Now what I did to one side, I have to do to the other side, so I better add 5m over here also. Okay, so m plus 5m, and you can always think of there being like a 1 in front of that, right? So 1 plus 5 is 6, so we're left with 6m over here. And what about on the other side? We have our equal sign. These went away, and we're just left with negative 12. Well, now all of a sudden, this looks a whole lot more manageable than this did up here, doesn't it? So 6m equals negative 12. To get rid of the 6, we're just going to divide by 6 on both sides. And then you're going to be left with m equals negative 2. And that is your answer for that one. So we had a lot going on here. We had combining like terms and variables on both sides, but we managed it. Let's go ahead and look at number 16 also. Okay, so in number 16, we have a lot going on again. We have 5n plus 8 equals 2n plus 7. So first of all, is there anything we can do as far as combine like terms? On the left-hand side, we've got an n term and just a regular number. We can't combine those because those are not like terms. What about on the right-hand side? We have another term with an n, and then we have another term that's just a number. Okay, well, guess what? We can't combine those either, so we'll just have to deal with it as it is. Now, I always like to deal with the variables first, so let's start with the variables. You want to only have variables on one side of the equation. So you can choose you want them over here on the left, or maybe you want them over here on the right. It doesn't matter which way you choose, but I'm going to choose to make my variables stay on the left for this problem anyways. So if I want all my variables on the left, that means I have to get rid of this 2n because it's over here on the right, right? So how do I get rid of the 2n? Well, I'm going to subtract it. Right now it's a positive 2n, so I'm going to go minus 2n. Now, whatever I do to this side, I also have to do to the other side, so I'm going to write it right here. And notice how I write it underneath the term that has an n in it? That helps me with the subtraction later because I'm not really subtracting the 2n from the 8. I'm subtracting it from the 5n. It just works better that way. So let's go ahead and do the math on this. The 2n minus 2n cancels out. That goes to 0. The 5n minus 2n leaves me with 3n. And we're going to bring down the plus 8 part. And then we bring down our equal sign. The 2n thing went away, and I'm left with negative 7. All right, so now I have 3n plus 8 equals negative 7, which is just a two-step equation. What am I going to get rid of first? You know I want to get that n by itself, right? So I have to get rid of the 3 and the 8. What should go bye-bye first? Let's get rid of the 8 first. Negative 8, or minus 8, however you want to think of it. Minus 8 over there. Plus 8 and minus 8, that goes to 0. So we're just left with 3n on the left equals negative 7 minus 8 equals negative 15. All right, so now you have 3 times n equals negative 15. Let's get n by itself by dividing by the 3. And what you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. Those will cancel out and go to 1, and you're left with n equals negative 5. And that's it for that problem. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, just ask your teacher. We loved helping you guys, and I hope you have an awesome day. Bye.